Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Guardians of the Galaxy Wave TITUS Build-A-Figure, which I have to say I wasn't really looking forward to. I'm not the most knowledgeable on the character, but he has kind of a cool design, so I was like, yeah, what the heck, it kind of reminds me of gargoyles, so I'll take a look at this figure. It looks pretty cool. And I have to say I'm very impressed with it, especially considering the fact that it reuses a ton of parts. It looks pretty good and they did a pretty good job. So let's go ahead and take it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 8 inches, almost exactly to the top of his ear, which makes him just above 20 centimeters. So he's got a little bit of size to him. I do think he's a bit undersized for this version of the character. I've seen some artwork where he's significantly larger, bulkier than this, but it's definitely good enough. I think it's okay, especially considering that they did a pretty good job with it. Interesting thing about this guy is that he reuses a lot of the Space Venom parts. So this arm is from not the shoulder, but from the bicep down and not counting the hand, this is all Space Venom. And then the legs are all Space Venom, except here's an interesting thing. The legs have the exact same markings as Space Venom for the thighs, so those are most likely Space Venom. Same knees as Space Venom. And then the lower legs have all of the same sculpt, and feet included, all of the same sculpt as Space Venom, except for the fact that these are for some reason split. I don't know how or why they would have done that unless they needed to use the Space Venom parts for something else, and then decided to split them up and make them separate pieces and glue the two together. But that's weird that there's a split and there's a big gap right here, and it's not like there's a shin swivel or anything. There's no shin swivel. In fact, because of that gap, you can see inside that it's keyed in, it fits properly. So I don't know what's up with that. It's pretty ugly and it's not cool that it's like that, especially since they already have the mold, but otherwise it's pretty good. All of the dark blue is molded except for the gold parts, so where the dark blue is on the gold, obviously that's painted. Same thing for over here, and they did a pretty good job matching it, especially on the arm. It looks all right. Down here on the boots, the blues are a little bit different, but it's not too bad, so I think that's okay. The molded gold it's actually shinier than the painted parts, which is that's unusual. Usually they paint the metallics really nicely, and on this guy, only the belt is especially metallic. So, that's okay. It's not bad. It's not great, but the molded parts are particularly shiny, so that's cool. Another thing that I really like about this that you don't usually see from Hasbro, and I'm very happy about it, is that the fingers on this hand are actually separate molds from the golden glove part. So they're able to either paint or mold in a marbly white and gray plastic the fingers and then glue them in and then paint the nails on. And so there's no paint issue at all with the fingers and glove there. So it's very nicely done. And I have to say, it's very nicely done on the head as well. We have a few different parts for the mouth. So we have the lower jaw, and then the upper part where the teeth and gums are, that's actually a separate mold. And I can't say for sure if the lower part is because I can't get that close. It might be. It looks like it's probably just painted. But either way, they did a really good job with the mouth. It's very clean, very nicely done. So I like that. Same thing for the head. The eye and all the stripes, it looks really good. The whatever that thing is, I guess it's a robotic eye. I don't know. That's pretty well done, so I like the head a whole bunch. And it looks to me like they did mold it in a marbly plastic rather than actually do shading on there, which seems to be a new trend for them. So that's kind of, I guess that's good because it looks pretty cool on there. And then on this side we have the like robotic Colossus style lines on the arm, and that's all nicely done. It looks pretty cool. And then we have the gun thing, which has some shading in here for like the barrel parts. So it looks pretty good. Pretty happy about that. Worth noting, this arm is definitely a little floppy due to the heft of the guns. They probably should have worried about that, but they didn't. Oh well. As far as the articulation goes, the head is on the standard type of hinge. However, it looks like it's warped. It's very, very warped looking right now. I didn't notice that before, and I don't see how I could have done that, but I guess it's possible I broke it while putting the head on, but the head's not exactly hard to pop on, so I don't see how that could have happened. But it's very limited just because the head actually sits properly. It's not way high up like most of the Legends. So that's a good thing, believe it or not. For the shoulders, they're a little bit limited unless you really force it. You can kind of tuck this in underneath the body, but you probably don't want to do that because it'll mess it up. So we have our standard ball hinge, which goes all the way around, and it's pretty limited this way. Bicep swivel standard, that's good. Elbow hinge, very stiff, but once it goes, you get 90 degrees, so that's good. And then the wrist has a swivel and a hinge, as you would expect. So that's pretty good. Ab crunch works really nicely. He can lean pretty far forward, and Not quite so far back, but it's okay. It's not too bad. We do have a waist twist. This arm's the same, by the way, other than the gun arm being too floppy. It's the same articulation, so nothing to point out there. For the hips, it's standard Marvel Legends hips now, which go, surprisingly far forward. I thought they might bump into the crotch too soon, but it worked pretty well. It's out just a little bit to the side, but that's all right. Then they have really nice range going out this way, better than Spider-Man, which is odd because this guy is especially bulky compared to Spider-Man, so interesting. Do the legs go back at all? And not really, just a tiny bit. You have your thigh swivel, you have your double jointed knee. Very stiff joints on this guy other than the floppy arm. But once the knee goes, it's got plenty of range, so that's good. And then for the ankle. Now the ankle is something else I really like. Other than the fact that it doesn't go that far forward, it's probably enough though, and it goes really far back, the ankle rocker on this thing is almost perfect. Instead of throwing the foot off at some crazy angle, it rotates it almost exactly how you need it to. Without having to rotate the shins or anything, you can see you get a really nice ankle rocker. So I do like that a whole bunch. So all in all, this is a really solid Build-A-Figure. I'm very happy with it. He may not be the most necessary figure in the collection, but he's definitely well done, so I have to say I recommend it. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you turn on notifications so you can see when those videos come out, and make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. In the meantime, keep collecting.